McDonald's today and get a delicious, saucy McRib sandwich, made even better with the one-of-a-kind taste of Dr. Pepper, the one you crave. At participating McDonald's for a limited time.
At the KSMO Studios at 1340, it is Intercounty Tuesday, and guess who's here? Guess. Come on. I don't hear it. Heather's here. You made it.
Yay, I made it.
Maybe they should have known because you already gave it a little help on the weather right there.
Yeah,
It was a little
told them
cooler
it was
coming
cold.
over. That's very good stuff, though. Anyway, but proof that it was a little cold out there. You had to scrape windows and turn the defrosters on and stuff just to make it over.
Just to make it over. Rough morning, huh?
You
I can't
encounter any
complain.
black ice out there?
No, I did not.
You were lucky.
No,
I
the
saw
road
some.
was good.
I saw some parking lots that had it, and that's very dangerous
Yeah.
this time of year.
We saw them putting salt out yesterday evening, down in our neck of the woods. I
Right.
don't know about here.
Yeah,
but
I saw it on some
the
parking lots. I
bridges.
saw it on my driveway too. It's
Oh,
in
yeah.
the cracks of the concrete, and you look sideways, you see that
Yeah.
glaze. Now, if you walk on it, it's not a big problem, but if you try and stop on it, it might be a problem.
Right.
Where just you keep
Right.
going. So, anyway, beware of that black ice. And as I mentioned, parking lots, especially ones that are sealed, that are dark, you cannot see that black ice. So again, if you are stepping out of your vehicle, do step out with caution. Make sure you got firm footing before you let go of the door. Otherwise, your firm footing that you think you might have that you never even checked, you might go right underneath the car or underneath the door, and you could really scrape yourself up badly.
Right.
So please don't do that. All right, very good. So hey,
Hey,
you all ready for Thanksgiving?
I think so.
I know in your family,
Yeah.
you got a lot of Thanksgivings
Yeah.
to go to.
Nobody wants to give, so we just
So you're
eat
still
all
gonna
day
have
and
17 places to go in one
yeah.
day.
Yeah, lots of turkey.
I'm telling you what.
You figure out what's best to eat at each location, and you just make sure you save
a little
room
nibble
for
here, a little
Yeah.
nibble there.
yeah. And then you don't want to do anything the next
Who
day.
makes the best pie?
Well,
Oh, you.
I'm gonna say that on the radio. I know better than that, Stan. You're trying to get me in trouble, aren't you?
was. Literally, I thought you might fall for it.
I'm gonna have
Well,
to eat a little
Grandma
bit.
such and such.
Yeah. Get me in trouble.
They don't do that. Don't do that. So anyway, so here it is, November. My gosh, how fast is
I
this year
know.
gone? But we have getting ready, and as you mentioned about the holidays coming up. So one of the things we always remind people about the holidays: and more people coming over, that means more doors opening,
Right.
more cooking, more lights on for a long period of time. And
Right.
as cold as it just got today, Heather, it also means what I always call the onset of those portable heater season.
They want to plug it in and warm up
Oh,
their bedroom,
my feet
don't
are cold.
they? Yeah.
Pop it in there. Let's see, 1,500 watts. Let's crank that sucker.
Yeah. Well, they might have bought one of those efficient ones, though, Stan.
It's 1,500 watts. It might blow it a little farther
Yeah.
than the other 1,500 watter. But let me tell you, heat rises.
It
So
does.
When people sit there and want to know why their feet are so cold, well, okay, if you have your vents in your ceiling, and a lot of houses I see anymore do, and I'm just amazed at that. I said, that's not going to heat your home very well.
Right.
You're going to have an issue. I don't care what kind of furnace you have. It's just going to be an issue. And so people will end up with some little portable space heaters, and we know that. But monitor those things. You don't need to crank them on all the way. If it's 1,500 watts and you take it all the way up, it's going to be 1,500 watts.
That's right. And we joke about, or I joked about, maybe you bought the efficient one. Stan's absolutely right. 1,500 watts is 1,500 watts, regardless of what marketing message your particular brand of space heater might have been promoting. Just be aware of the added usage of those. There are times where they make sense. You know, they're not a permanent heating solution.
Right.
A lot of times they're used for that, and that can really just increase your electric bill astronomically. If you run a 1,500 watt space heater all day, every day for an entire month, and I realize that that's unlikely, but just to give you a
Unless
ballpark.
somebody's using it as their primary heat source, which that is not what it is intended to do
Right. You're looking at just over $90 a month on your electric bill
for your space heat.
for that one space heater. So if you're running it half that time, you know, you can look at around $45 or so on your bill. Just be aware of the additional usage. If you're plugging it in, it's
And
going
that's
to use
probably
more.
on an average cool November day, right?
Well,
not one that's 20 below.
that's if it's running 24 hours a day for the entire month. So if, some of them, I realize they do have thermostats they can kick on and off. Some of them are just on or off, and you may have it plugged in or not plugged in at certain times. So just keep in mind that those heating elements, for the most part, are 1500 watt heater. Some you can get where you can toggle back and forth between, maybe 750 watts and 1500 if there's a high and a low setting.
Yeah.
But
Some of the old radiator ones had 300, 500, and then 900. And if you could add them all up, then you could actually get up to 1700.
Oh, wow.
You could put all three of them on.
Yeah.
Some just had a 500 and I think 1,000, so you could do that.
right.
But again, turning these on, this is not a permanent heat source. It's temporary.
Right.
Now, I will say this about the heating sources. They've come a long way in safety with these compared to the old wire ones that you could see glow in front of your face.
kind of singe your skin. Yeah. The safety has improved. I would still encourage you, even if you've bought a new one, that you see these now that are advertised to be in tables as well. It still makes me a little nervous to think about stacking up your newspapers and having your blanket hanging off the side of the couch over the top of it. You still want to be conscious of the safety aspect of
Right.
those. Keep the space around them clear. Don't leave them on if you're leaving the house or going in to go to bed.
And the reason for that is because there has to be an element in there that
That's right.
does generate heat, right?
Right. And like you said, safety has come a long way on them. Most of them have tipping, like a tipping
Anti-tip.
anti-tip.
Yeah.
They'll turn off. They are cool to the touch as compared to those old ones that you
Oh,
talked
yeah.
about. So safety has come a long way, but there's still a heating element. So you still want to make sure, we talk about dust bunnies being around those and getting in those. Make sure the space around them is clear, and then just be
Check
aware.
the filters, too, if they have one. Because those filters get all clogged up. There's no air going through it.
Right.
Ooh, and that's going to use
Right.
a lot more of that electricity you talked about.
Yeah.
And it could also burn up your...
Yeah. And beware of, I talked about marketing for some of these. Questions we get every year, Stan, are, well, I bought the one that says it only uses pennies a day. And that's so misleading because they don't tell you how many pennies, first of all. They could use a
Well,
lot
if you turn
of...
it on for 5 minutes, it's only going to use pennies a day.
Right. But if you leave it on all day, you could still say it used pennies. They just, a lot more pennies. So,
Big pennies.
big pennies, yes. So just, if it sounds too good to be true, a lot of times it normally is. We've heard claims that the heater that I bought says it's going to cut my electric bill in half. And there's fine print to those ads. A lot of times, the reason why certain brands are able to advertise that is they claim cut your electric bill in half. They're assuming that you will turn off your electric furnace to your home and just use that space heater in whichever room you are in at the time to keep yourself warm. That's not practical. And a lot of times that's not what's happening. The furnace is not being turned down or turned off. This is being added in addition to, or multiple heaters being plugged in and being used as a permanent heat source.
Or in the case we brought out earlier, they have the vents in the ceiling. So
Right.
if your thermostat is 4 feet off the ground and you have a high ceiling and you have your vents coming out of the ceiling, which let's just say they're 12 feet tall, which is a pretty high ceiling, it's going to take a while for that heat to get down to that thermostat. Now, if you turn on one of these smaller ones, it'll get there quicker.
Right.
And it will maintain a better flow in that room, which will keep your central heating system from kicking on all the time.
Right.
Here's the kicker. Your back rooms, though, may be extraordinarily cold
That's right.
because now this room is still 68 or 70, but those back rooms may be 49.
Right. Especially if that's where your thermostat's at.
Brr. So
Can get
you-
cold.
Again, you got the give and take on that. So be very cautious. Again, read everything, and especially Heather nowadays. You have so many different options, and they come out with so much misleading information. That's got we'll say a semblance of truth to it. 1% of it's true, but 99% of it might be a little bit fabricated.
Right.
So watch out for that.
Yeah.
And that goes with a lot of different things. Some of these electric fireplaces, they say put out heat.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you're right next to it and your hands are up against it, yeah, you can feel a little bit of heat. If you're 20 feet away on the other side of the room, it's not going to get there.
Yeah.
Now, some of them now have a blower that it does have a heating element in it. And when that heating element goes, it throws, and they have a little thing in there that makes it look like it's got a
Right.
flame to it. And it will blow out heat over the heating element. Well, now you've got two things. You got one that's making it look like a flame, has nothing to do with the heating element
Right.
at all. And now a heating element. So now you've got two things of electric you're using. So, again, just be cautious of what you're doing. When you buy something, take a good hard look at it. This is something that consumers want something different.
Right.
They want some nice looking furniture instead of the old, space heater, which was all wire, which was nasty looking. Well, now we have that end table like you're talking about that can heat up your home and get matching end tables so you can put both of them on.
Yeah.
How about that for a whammy?
Yeah. Just be aware that regardless whether you pay $30 or $300 for a 1500 watt space heater, it's going to consume the same amount of kilowatt hours when you're using it. So be a smart shopper. Be aware of the additional usage that the heater is going to use. If you're interested in figuring out how to calculate usage, whether it's on a space heater or any type of electric appliance, give us a call and we can run through some numbers with you and kind of give you an idea of what you're looking at as far as increased usage.
Years ago, now they seem to be making a comeback. They used to have those window radiant heaters that used to go at the base of your window.
Yeah.
And those and they were 8 feet long. Okay.
Yeah.
And they were like a little mini radiator, and they kept
Baseboard
your
heat.
baseboard heat, but they kept your window warm. Which, if you go by a window and it's cold, you're going to feel that.
Right.
Which is a good idea. Problem is, it doesn't get any further. It doesn't radiate that heat out into the room. It just basically keeps that area where the window is warm. Those can be unbelievably expensive because if you're sitting that next to a window that only activates when the window gets cold, well, here we got a wind chill of 10. If your window is facing the west right now, northwest, and that wind hits it,
It's going to be cold.
Your little radiator's going to keep kicking on.
Yeah.
And it's going to be working overtime to try and keep that window lukewarm.
Right.
So watch out for those things. And people now are they're coming back out with those. You don't need to put that plastic over the window. You can get this.
Right.
Well, you can. You can also get heat tape around your window, too. They're the same thing. But
yeah.
the idea is every different thing that uses electricity. We talk about heat tape. People do have heat tape for some of their pipes. Know that heat tape is still linked. It's all the way to the end. Sometimes we talk about critters like to take refuge in those crawl spaces. They like heat tape because it's warm.
Right. They're going to bump right up next to it.
And they like to paw at it because it's hanging.
Something to play with, huh?
You betcha. And so if they rip that, you know what? It doesn't stop the heat tape. It still goes.
Right.
It just has an open end now. Whoa.
They're just
so
nice and toasty warm down there.
Yeah, so it can really do a number on you. Just make sure whatever systems you're using to warm things in your home, and Heather, you probably heard of it now that everybody wants these warm bathroom floors.
Oh, the heated tile.
Oh, that heated tile. That's so nice. And I'm telling you what, it is a convenience. It's really nice. You put that in your floor, and they put that underneath your tile, and they lay a little layer of concrete over top and make it nice and level. And yeah, it's nice. You'll have an electric bill out of sight if you leave that on all day long because you're not there.
Right, and it would be easy to forget.
Oh, it's easy to forget. Anyway, we actually have one of those systems in our back room because we don't have central air or central heat back there. That is definitely a huge detriment if somebody puts it at 78. Oh, I mean to tell you, it comes right out of the floor and it's warm. It's perfectly even everywhere around your floor.
Huh.
But if it's 78 on the floor, it's 76 up high, and that floor just keeps. Of course, the floor's against the ground. It's
Right.
feeling the ground cold.
Right. It's cold.
So it keeps going on. Guys, there's always a cost to these things. Always think that you're not just warming up that floor. And if you remember, now if you put on a timer, that's a different story.
Right.
You're getting smart. And where it only comes on for, you get up in the morning before you go take that shower, you want to kick that on.
Mm-hmm.
And people turn that on. Now, I'm sure people watch HGTV and they see these towel warmers. Am I not crazy? Okay,
No.
towel warmers. They
Right.
built right into the electric,
Yeah.
and they're on all the time.
Yeah. It's a heating element.
I don't
it's like
need
a
a
space
towel
heater.
warmer on all. I don't even need a warm towel. My towel's not cold. All right, but you see them, right?
Right. Right.
So all these little different things that we're talking about, we're talking about adding up big time in the winter because people want to stay warm, and we understand that. But watch out. You can get suckered into these things. The next thing you know, you're going to have a problem paying your bill.
Right. And also, too, something I know we talked about last year was dressing for the weather. When it's cold, like today, instead of walking around in pajama shorts and a tank top, you could put on a pair of sweatpants and a
What?
sweatshirt or a long sleeve T-shirt, something. Dress so that you're more comfortable for the weather. I
Socks
should
and
say.
slippers on a cold floor work.
Hey,
Have for years.
if it keeps you from turning your thermostat up, that's a good thing.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of times that floor is going to be cold no matter what. I mean, we've
Right.
got a tile kitchen floor with a crawl space below it.
Right.
I don't care what you do.
Put, like you said, socks and slippers
Socks and
on.
slippers. And, that you just need to do that. You know it's going to be cold, so don't walk out there in bare feet.
Right.
It's like walking on concrete outside in bare feet in the winter.
And wondering why you're cold.
Gee, it's cold out here. Guys, so some of it, like
Common
Heather's
sense.
saying, a little common sense. Dress appropriately for and if some people like a little bit warmer. Well, I'm not going to tell you what temperature to put on. If you want 68, great. 72, great. 78, great. If that's what you want him, just remember, you guys have a formula for every degree you turn that thermostat up. It's going to cost you X amount per month more, right? I think you guys had that.
Yeah,
formula.
it's a ballpark just because
Yeah, I
each
mean,
home
well,
is different.
right,
But
because
yeah,
the size of the home makes
right.
a difference. But
and windows and insulation
Sure.
and
But I mean, it was something I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
But it was in one of your
Magazines.
Magazines.
Mhm.
For every degree you have up, if you, 2 degrees was a huge savings, and then you can get the thermostats. By the way, now that you can have a variance on it, which will go up or down 2 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have it set at 72, it won't kick on until it's 70, and then it'll go up to 72. But if it warms up to 74. On your air conditioning side, it won't kick on until it hits 74, and then
Right.
it'll come down to 72. So you can change that. You can make it 1 degree, and then but the old ones used to say 72.
Right.
72.
It's gonna keep it there.
72, and so
Mm-hmm.
didn't matter. We're going to stay on a lot,
Right.
whether you want us to or not. So a lot of different things to look at. Might not be a bad idea to take a real good assessment of your home. I know a lot of times we talk about the energy audits. A lot of stuff comes out in the energy audits where they
Right.
say, you can be doing this and this and this. Take a little energy audit of your own at home just to see what you're doing.
I'll tell you this from
You
a
tell
couple
me.
years ago, going out and actually working with members and doing those energy audits, the majority of them knew where their problem areas were. When we would come in with that infrared camera, one of the first things we ask are there any trouble areas that you want to make sure we don't miss, that you want us to look at? They knew. They knew the windows that were cold that they needed to recaulk around. They knew that the weather stripping on their door, back door, was bad. I mean, they could see the light coming in. So they knew where their problem areas were because they were aware of which rooms and which parts of the rooms were uncomfortable when it was cold. So if there are places in your home that in the winter it's cold, you don't like sitting in the recliner next to the front window because it's always colder, you've got an issue with your window. And unfortunately, you can't get out there and replace any caulking on it now because it's too cold, but
And then in the summer, it's not a problem.
nope, so they forget about it. So make a list, and there are things that you can do even without replacing that caulking. You talked about putting plastic up
Right.
around the windows.
Some people do that.
Some people do that, and that's come a long way. I remember when I was a kid, we always had plastic over our bedroom windows in the winter. Well, you couldn't see through them. You just didn't have a window during the winter. But that's come a long way. There are some options out there now that you can even use a little blow dryer
Yeah, and it
to
stretches
get
it
that
out,
to
and keeps
seal
it nice and tight.
and you can still see through there. So take a look at
But don't try
different
and open your
options.
window.
no. Yeah.
That you can't do.
No.
And but yes, there are some different options. But I think that was that self-assessment though. If you're not quite sure, just like you said, these people knew what their problem areas were. If you don't know where your problem area is, and start looking around.
Right.
A lot of times people say, "I feel a breeze."
Where's it coming
I
from?
feel there's a draft in here somehow. If there's a draft, there's a reason. Something's open.
Right.
And a lot of times people who have crawl spaces where they have at one time or another maybe had a dryer vent or something
Right.
come through or some electric come through, that hole is still open. And that hole is going to have that cooler air come through it if you've rearranged something in your home. So there's usually a good reason for it. You just have to go find it. And sometimes you just have to look.
That's right.
Anyway, but there's more to our discussion today than just trying to find. Just watch your electric bill. It's
Right.
just that time of year, and we know kids are going to be coming home. Thanksgiving time, food in and out, TVs in every room,
Right.
watching football.
Everybody's charging
everybody's
their
charging
devices.
their devices. So those electric bills do tend to go up, and not to mention Christmas lights
Right.
starting to go up. So always know if you start putting your Christmas lights up on November 1st and you have them on all the time, your electric bill will go up. Even if you use LED, it's
Right.
still going to go up. Now, it won't go up as much if you had 27 floodlights out there.
Right. Be a lot.
A lot of people still do. I just saw a house the other day that had like 9 of them shine on it. 9 floodlights. Wow.
And that's fine. Everybody has their own.
Right. I mean, that's
Decoration
as long as
ideas.
you know what you're going to be doing.
Right. We don't want you to be surprised when you get your electric bill.
Right. So, but the investment in LED Christmas light right now, that's a good investment.
It is. Yeah.
Very
And
good,
take
man.
care of them when you take them back down and store them.
Right.
Make sure you take care of them so that you can use them for years and
Right.
years.
And and especially if you use a real tree, it's a lot safer than those old lights
Absolutely.
used to be. So, take a look at that. And of course, we hope that you have a very happy and safe Thanksgiving and Christmas. And if you're wise, when people are over at Thanksgiving after they ate, make them put up the Christmas lights.
Hey, take advantage
or,
of the extra
or
hands.
before they eat. You want to eat? Get those lights.
Yeah.
up, make do something. While you're here instead of just watching football and parades in the morning.
Yeah.
Very good. All right. A couple other things this time of year. We know it gets a little bit slick. We do know that, we talk about the dreaded ice word, but the dreaded ice word can really play havoc at this time of year.
It can.
For a number of reasons. One, and you've told us about this before, what a tenth of an inch of ice on a line and a quarter inch ice on a line weighs. I don't think people have any idea how much that weighs on a line, Heather, but it really does take a toll
Right.
on those lines because that's heavy.
It is. It adds a lot of extra weight to each span of line and puts a lot of pressure on the poles that's not normally there. So we're fine with the snow, but you ask any lineman about impending ice and
Cringes, doesn't it?
yeah, that's our 4-letter word, if you will.
So, but ice can also, and we talk about the amount of ice, and they have had as much as half inch of ice here in the last few years in a couple of places, which has toppled poles. And we know that it just pulls them down.
Right.
The poles may have been compromised. Maybe they're old poles. Maybe they've
Right.
been hit by a vehicle at one time or another. Those poles will come down, and we always know that when the pole comes down, the lines come down with it,
Right.
and it can create a real hazardous condition. And a lot of times, those poles are near roads. People will just get out and they say, "Oh, well, I see the pole down, but I don't see any arcing." Well, they must have shut the electric off,
Yeah.
and it's snowing or it's raining, and they
It's
get out of
wet.
their vehicle, and that's probably the worst thing that they could do.
It is, you know, and we talk about safety around power lines, down power lines. If you see the pole down, you know the line is not just magically floating in the air. It's down there somewhere, even if you can't see it. And we've talked before, I really think TV dramatizes what people think a live power line looks like. They expect it
Hold
to
that
be
line in your hand and watch it just sizzle,
arcing
right?
and sparking and flopping around on the ground, and that's not always the case. So please stay in your vehicle, whether you've come up on a down line or maybe you were in a vehicle accident involving a power line. You know, we talk about ice and what it can do to our lines, but ice also makes the roads slick, and you could find yourself involved in an accident where you've hit maybe a power pole and that line is down. Stay in your vehicle, if at all possible. There may be a time where the vehicle's on fire and you have to exit the vehicle. That should be the only time you try to get out. When you do that, and Stan, we've told people so many times, but you want to make sure that when you exit your vehicle, you are not holding on to it and touching the ground at the same time,
Right.
because you become path to ground. So as difficult and awkward as it might feel, you need to jump out of the vehicle with both feet, your hands clear of the car, and either shuffle or bunny hop away, because that electricity travels sort of like when you throw a pebble in a pond. It ripples out, and so you want to get outside of that electricity ring and make sure that you're clear of it, make sure that other people are clear of it. You know, if you can keep others from approaching the vehicle, if you're the one that's involved, or maybe you've come up on an accident and you can holler to the person and let them know to stay in their vehicle. Best thing you can do is call 911 and report the accident. They're going to get a hold of us.
Right.
We'll get out there.
And that includes lines that just come down across the road. You know,
Right.
we talked about the ice storm. Maybe it has loosened the line. Maybe it's just too heavy and the line falls. The ice comes off and it's laying in the road. Well, it can be a dangerous situation there because it's a live line. I mean,
Right.
people drive over it. Not a big deal. But they're also in a 4 rubber tired vehicle and they're not getting out and touching that ground.
Right. And we do appreciate our members' help. We have incredible members, and they're helpful in a number of ways. Helping clean up an area after a storm or an accident is not an area we want help. And take that as you will. It's not intended to be an insult to our members who want to help us, but
Safety measure.
it's a safety measure, and our linemen are trained with how to deal with this. First responders are trained on how to deal with it. We really just want to keep you and your family safe, and best thing you can do, again, call in, let us know, let us get out there. That's how you can help.
Right.
is
And
by
the
giving
same
us a
thing
call.
at your home. If you see a line go down, don't go out there and investigate.
Right.
If you see a line hanging off the pole, and it may not even be an inter-county line, it could be cable line, it could be something else, but don't go out there to find out.
Right. We'd rather you just call us, let us know, let us come out and take a look. And as you mentioned, it could be just a cable line. Better safe than sorry.
When we talk about electric and winter, you've got snow, you've got rain. Snow is water, guys.
Right.
Now, I know it doesn't look like water. It's white, it's pretty, it's nice, it's fluffy. Usually it's gorgeous. But if electric hits that sweet, lovable little snow, it just conducts it just like
Right.
water does. And so please watch out. And if you have children around and we have an ice storm, and I know kids, the first thing they want to do is go outside and slide on
Right.
that ice.
Right.
Well,
Want to go play.
be very cautious to make sure that your electric hasn't gone off, or your neighbor's electric hasn't gone off. Make sure that the lights are all still on. If you look around, all the lights are on, you're probably in pretty good shape. But you notice the neighbor's lights aren't on, and they were on prior to the storm. You may have a line down. It doesn't have to be in your yard. It could be in the yard next to you. But if the kids go out there in the backyard and they think, hey, this is a great time, and look, we can slide right down this hill, right down to that fence, right to the neighbor's yard, that may not be a good idea.
Yeah.
So, again, a lot of common sense things. We throw out a lot of scenarios that the chances of these things happening aren't very good, but
That's
it
right.
only takes one. We talk about that in the summertime with the boat docks. The chances of it happening aren't very good. It only takes one.
Right. And you hear unfortunately more and more about electric shock drownings. And so that's why we do talk about it. We hope that it doesn't happen. We hope you don't have to deal with it. But if you do, we want you to be armed with the knowledge of how to stay safe.
And also with your electric lights outside, remember there are proper electrical connections that protect away from water and the weather. Mm-hmm. So don't get the saran wrap out and the rubber bands and think I can wrap this better than that $4, connector. You can't. It's amazing how many people do that. I mean, my dad used to do that. It scared the jeepers. I put it in a gutter. Damn, are you crazy? Anyway, but that's
Yeah.
And they would run the Christmas lights that way, and I'm thinking you got to be nuts. But that's that's what they used to do, and and those were not LED lights. My goodness gracious, those were, that bulb broke, you were going to get shocked.
Right.
So, be careful. If you have electric on the ground outside, a lot of people like to put up a lot of these beautiful snow globes and
inflatable.
reindeer and Frosty the Snowman and Santa and Rudolph and
Right.
Yukon
There's Thanksgiving
Cornelius
ones.
and everybody
even
else out there.
Even before Christmas, there's Thanksgiving ones out.
Oh yeah, I
so-
know. But a lot of times they're not always in the snow. Like today, there's
Right.
just a little sift of snow in some
Right.
way. But that sift of snow is enough to carry electric. Mm-hmm. They can let you know in a big hurry that you've hit the snow.
Right.
So be cautious. Make sure they're plugged in, and you should have them on a GFCI plug. So
Right.
if something happens, pops off.
And make sure you're using an extension cord rated for outside use.
Outside use. They're usually green, aren't they? Some of the orange ones you can still use outside, but
Yeah.
I've seen now they made them green. So if you have them outside,
Blends in with your grass.
it blends in with your grass, but also it lets you know that it's already been rated for outdoors.
oh,
It's green.
well, that makes sense.
So I'm thinking, yeah, that's not
Yeah.
a bad idea.
As long as you don't forget they're there. And
Well, it's not a lot of green out anymore on the
No.
ground anyway. So, but it's a good idea.
yeah.
And don't scrimp on the extension cords. If you're going to run a lot of electric off an extension cord, don't get the smallest extension cord you can. Now, I don't mean lengthwise. I
Right.
mean the smallest in width and thickness, and get the right gauge wire. And if you're going to run 100 feet and then you're going to put it, 15 things on that, not a good idea. Not a good idea.
You're
Plan
gonna
a little bit
You're gonna
ahead.
wish you bought the.
You're going to wish
the
there was
bigger
12
one.
gauge wire in there instead of 22 gauge wire when it starts to, just start to arc and spark
Yeah.
and look like Christmas Story right up against the wall. Nastiness. Anyway, when we talk about that, very, very, very important, guys. Outdoor lighting, it's beautiful. We all love to see it, but it can be dangerous. Please be careful. All right. What else would you like to talk about?
Well, I want to go back a little bit and talk about Member Appreciation Day that we had last month.
Oh, you want to
Because
you want
I-
to go back in time?
I do want to go back.
because you're going to tell me I won that electric?
Well, if you would have won, we would have already called you. So you didn't win, but I do have some winners' names.
Okay. Well, okay. So customer appreciation was back in October.
Right, and it was
Second-
cold. It was a cold
Second
day.
Monday.
It was the 15th.
Third.
Was that? It was a Monday.
It was a Monday. Third. That must be a third Monday. If it was 15th.
Yeah, it'd have to be.
Okay. So third Monday of October in Mountain Grove, Licking, and in Rolla, and of course, people won electric credits.
They did, and so we'd like to announce them.
Okay. You go ahead.
Ron Ross won that electric credit from the Rolla office.
Okay.
In Licking, Tom Taylor, his name was drawn. And then in Mountain Grove, we had Miss Jackie Lawton. So congratulations to those three members.
Very good.
We appreciate everybody that joined us.
And they got a free lunch.
They did, yeah. We didn't serve as many this year. If you recall, it was extremely cold and windy that day.
I remember the wind more than I remember the cold, but it
Yeah.
was really, really windy.
It was really windy, and I think that probably kept some members at home that might have came out and joined us, or some office personnel nearby offices that
Maybe would
might have
walk
came
over,
over
yeah.
and had lunch with us. They decided to stay in. So hopefully we have a little bit nicer weather next year, but we certainly appreciate everybody coming out and joining us, and congratulations to those winners.
Very good. All right.
Yeah.
Now they're ineligible to win again for their life.
No. You just want to increase your odds of winning.
Well,
You got to try, huh?
you know, they say you got to play to win.
Yeah.
I didn't make it over and sign
Yeah.
up, so.
And I don't think we had anybody come to all three offices. We had a couple members ask us. I don't know if you remember me talking about that.
Well, I brought that up a couple times.
Yeah, we've had a
It'd be
couple
tough.
members that ask, "Hey, can we go to all three and put our name in?" Absolutely.
Yeah, you
Between
can.
11 and 1, you could make it, but
You could.
unless they did and just didn't make a big deal about it and tell us, "Hey, I was just at Rolla and now I'm headed to Mountain Grove." I don't
think
know
I'd
that
go
we
to
had
Licking
any.
before I went to Mountain Grove from Rolla.
Well, if they're passing through Licking.
Oh, if you're starting, well, you don't start.
No, if they
Licking.
started in Rolla, and
Oh.
if they came to Licking and said, "I've been to Rolla and I'm headed to
Oh,
Mountain
okay,
Grove,"
Okay, I thought you said they were in Rolla and they told you they're going to go to.
yeah, you'd have to start at one end or the
Yeah,
other.
you gotta-
I
yeah.
don't think you could make it work
Well,
if you started
it'd be
in
really
Licking.
hard to do that.
Yeah,
I'm sure you're going to be running out of time on that one.
yeah.
You'd have to start right at 11, be in there, grab the hot dog, put your name in, and get in the car. And you may have to do a little over the speed limit to get that done. Please don't do that.
Yeah, I don't think we had anybody do that.
All right. So anyway, customer appreciation day, always a nice event put
Mm-hmm.
on by Intercounty. We're a free lunch and with sandwich and a hot dog and some chips and a little soda and
Yeah.
just to say thanks.
Yeah, visit with the members.
You gonna give us a Christmas present this year, like a $700,000 credit or something?
Not quite that much, but that is something else I wanted to talk about. $700,000. You just pulled that number out of nowhere,
did.
didn't you?
Hey, Santa Claus has got to be out there somewhere, right?
Well, we've got a couple of different things that we're doing this
Okay,
year.
Sure.
And our members have kind of grown accustomed to our board reviewing capital credit allocations. And capital credits are those, the portion of our members' margin that is entitled to them because members are our owners. So
That's correct.
anytime we make a profit, we do not send that back to stakeholders anywhere. That goes to our members. And they did meet this month, and they approved a $1.5 million capital credit allocation.
That's better than my 700,000.
Well, I think you were wanting $700,000 to yourself.
No,
though.
no.
Oh, okay.
No, I spread the good word.
Okay. Yeah, Mel was laughing. I knew where Stan was.
Hey. That would last me a long time on my electric bill.
You just have all
700,000.
kinds of stuff plugged in, wouldn't you?
I would.
You'd leave the tile heat on.
I'd leave it on for the town. That's all right.
But $1.5 million in capital credits, those checks will go out in December. And then
Checks will go out and just get on your bill.
the checks will go out. This
You
is
gotta
capital
send out
credit.
Money.
We're going to send out money.
like
But we are also going
Okay.
to do another discount.
Ooh, I like it.
If you remember, in September, we gave a discount to members based on their usage from January to July.
I do remember that.
And
That was nice, like $28 I got on my bill. It was nice.
so that was because the weather has been extreme this year. We had an extremely cold winter last year, January, February. Even March was cold. And then we didn't really have much of a spring. We went right into cooling
I think we had
season.
a day and a half.
Yeah.
It was short.
We went straight from having your heat on to having your air on. And so that means in our county, we brought in more revenue than what we had budgeted for. So we did those discounts in September. The board has decided to do an additional discount, and it's going to be based on usage from January to November. So we've got a couple extra months on there than we did
Okay.
previously. But that discount is going to be $1 million discount, and it's going to hit either your December bill or your January bill, depending on what cycle you're on. So if you're on cycle 1, where your bill is due on the 15th, and you get it on the 1st, you're going to see that discount on your January 1st bill.
And for us on the second cycle,
On
we
s-
get in December.
You get it on your December 8th bill.
Yeah.
So,
Merry Christmas to me.
yeah. So it's either Merry Christmas or
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. You just got done with paying your taxes and buying all your Christmas
you just
stuff.
bring up
so-
all kinds of good news, don't you?
I know. But hopefully this helps with that a little bit,
Okay.
you know, decrease that electric bill and make sure you're looking at that. I know it's easy to sort of become complacent and not even look at your bill. You look at that total line and how much do I owe. Make sure you're looking at how it's itemized out, because hopefully you knew you got a discount in September. But I wouldn't be surprised if we had some members that said, oh, I just thought maybe I used less.
That's probably true. Yeah.
So make sure you're looking, that you're aware of how your bill's calculated and what you're being billed and how that's being figured.
Or if they used more and they got a credit and it was about normal, they probably didn't think twice about it.
Right. Maybe they missed finding a problem sooner rather than later if they weren't looking at it.
So anyway, so you're talking about $2.5 million overall,
Right.
total.
Right.
$1 million in
Discounts.
credits, discount credit. I call them credits because it'll be on your bill.
Right.
And then $1.5 million going to be sent out in the form of checks.
For capital credits.
My gosh, I can go
Yeah.
Christmas shopping with that money.
Yeah. Well,
Probably not a lot of Christmas shopping, but some. All right, very good.
Yeah.
All right, so that's a nice little
It is nice.
feather in the cap for the end of the year.
Yeah.
And we can expect those checks in December?
In December. I can't tell you when because I don't know that yet.
Well,
All I know
Do you
is
have to sign all of them? That'll
December.
be a lot of checks.
That would be a lot of checks. No, but we will have a list like we always do of addresses. Well, we won't have the list of addresses. A list of members who we can't get their check to them because we don't have a good address. So beware now. If you're listening, or if you're listening and maybe your mother moved inside the city limits,
Right.
or
You just moved.
or you just moved. Get your current address to us, and we realize that that's not always the first thing that you're thinking about when you're moving is making sure your old utility provider has your new forwarding address. But it is important with a co-op because
You got money coming.
you have money coming. So make sure your address is up to date with us. Encourage family or friends that you know have moved to give us a call. Make sure we've got the right address so we can get them their money.
Always, I like it when you bring good news, Heather.
Yeah,
Good
that's
news.
too good news.
Good news. Much better than you saying something about that. What's that T word?
We're not talking about that anymore.
Talk about that word. All right. So very good, and that will all for many. That'll be a nice welcome gift in December. 2 gifts in December. One, a group of people who have an extra special New Year's gift. I guess when they get their
Yeah.
bill, like, oh, we just decided we'd just give you
Yeah.
a break. Very good. Very good.
Good
I
stuff.
appreciate that. All right. Very good. One of the things that, oh my goodness gracious, I wanted to kind of touch on because when you know it, here we start talking about ice storms. They did mention a little freezing drizzle yesterday. I'm thinking, oh, great.
Right.
But freezing drizzle, ice storms, and we talked about the wires going down. All this can lead to a lot of outages, and those outages, a lot of people have gotten a little bit smarter now, and they've gotten their backup generators. We talked about this just last month, but I'm going to just touch on it again, because the GeneraLink is a great way for you to be prepared.
Right.
Don't wait till the ice is coming tomorrow and say, guys, I need my GeneraLink
Today.
yesterday. Okay, it doesn't work that way, and and people will do that. They just wait until the event is all but upon you.
Right.
It's kind of like I always look at the rush at the grocery store when they start predicting bad weather. They sell out of everything.
The shelves are empty.
Whether we get it or not, the grocery store is making a haul because people are down there and they're all fighting for the last piece of meat and last can of beans and
Loaf of
whatever's
bread.
there. But the thing is, you should be stocking up on some of that a little at a time prior to that happening. So just in case you can't get there,
Right.
you're not at your last can of beets. And that's it. That's all you got left in the whole house is 1 can of beets and a piece of bread. And it's going to have a 5 to 28 inch snow, something like that. And you're stuck.
It's a dire situation here.
It's kind of bad. 1 beat at a time, I guess. But get the idea. Don't wait till the last minute. If you
Right.
have a generator that you would like to have the GeneraLink system hooked up to your meter, call now.
Right.
It's not going to get done by this weekend, though. More than likely, unless you really just happen to have somebody right in the area about it.
Right. And depending on the size of your generator, you may need a GeneraLink device installed there at your meter base. It may be that you need a double throw switch.
Yeah.
You know, so depending on what you need is going to affect the time. Depending on what type of generator you have, those plugs can be different. We may or may not have in stock the cord that fits yours.
What?
We may have to order it. So time is important. And yeah, if you have a generator, that's fabulous. But give us a call and let us get on the same page with you, because we want to keep you safe. We want to keep your home safe, your appliances in your home. We don't want any of those to be damaged by using a generator incorrectly. But we want to keep
Your guys safe.
our guys safe.
Yeah.
You know, people's lives are far more important than a appliance that is ruined in your home. As
You can replace it.
you can replace it, you cannot replace your life. We cannot replace one of the lives of our linemen. So please operate those generators safely. Give us a call. We'll come out, take a look at it, let you know what you need.
It's not free, but it's
It's
a
not.
very, very small charge.
It is.
And it can be put on your bill monthly, right?
It is. Yep. That's how it's
Okay.
done. It's put on
Very
your bill.
good. So if you need that, call now. Tell them you'd like that. Please, whatever you do, do not take that generator, run an extension cord out of your generator, and plug it into your house socket. You just don't want to be doing that in your
Yeah.
outlet. Just don't want to plug it in there, guys. That's going
Yeah.
right back into the whole system, going right back into your circuit box. It's just not. That's a very dangerous thing to do. Very
It is.
dangerous. Okay, so don't do that. Run your extension cord in there, plug in your refrigerator, whatever you need to, into the generator.
generator.
Not into the plug.
Right.
And I know people say, well, that's an inconvenience.
Well,
Yeah, it can be a real inconvenience when that electric comes back on, and
fries everything.
yeah, not a good thing. Don't let that happen. But make the phone call ahead of time, and you'll be in much better shape. All right, let's talk. Do you have anything else that you need to talk about?
I just wanted to remind our members
No,
that
I don't want to take over. It's your interview.
I wanted to remind members that this month we'll be participating in the telephone survey.
Yeah, you warned them about that last month.
Yeah, and
It is going on now.
it has not actually started
Okay.
yet. There are multiple co-ops in the state of Missouri that are doing this, and it's the same group that does this for each co-op. So
Okay.
we're kind of waiting our turn, and how quickly the other co-ops finish up depend on how easily they can get a hold of members to answer those survey questions to fulfill their quota that they need in order to give accurate
Is there
results.
a minimum number they have to get?
Yeah, and I don't know what that is, but they want to make sure they have a good representation of
Okay.
co-op members. So that's why we don't have an exact this day we're going to start, but we do know it's going to be this month. If you get a call, please take, a couple minutes and answer those survey questions. They're going to be asking you about your satisfaction with the co-op. They are not going to be asking for financial information. So
Now, if you get a call and they ask you for financial information, hang up.
right. And so that's why I wanted to bring that up, because we talk so much about scammers and phone scams that I just want to make sure our members know we are participating in a telephone survey. We do hope you'll participate. But if for some reason a scammer thinks, oh, this is a perfect time to make that call, we will not be collecting bank account information, your credit card information. So do not ever give that out over the phone.
Very good.
Yeah. That's my little
Have any
public
snowbirds
announcement.
out there?
I'm sure we do.
Do we?
Yeah. I'm sure we do.
I think people who are snowbirds should probably do something to make sure their electric bill's paid.
Yeah.
A couple of ways they can do that, isn't there?
They
What do you
can
What do you think?
they can be on bank draft,
Bank draft's good.
which is
I like
a really
that.
good option, because that their electric bill is taken out of their bank account each month. They don't have to worry about it. A lot of members who do that also do levelized billing, so it's the same amount. So they know, hey, this much is coming out on this day.
Two good ideas, Heather. That's very good.
But we also have Smart Hub,
Uh-huh.
which beyond being a portal to make a payment from anywhere, whether you're down in Florida or still right here in,
Well, the Caribbean.
yeah, boy, that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Be out there dancing away.
Stan says if you'd give me $700,000, I'd,
That's only in credits. I can't do anything. I guess I could sell them up.
But,
I bet you guys wouldn't let me.
no,
Yeah.
couldn't do that. But Smart Hub is an option, really easy to make a payment, among other things. You can also call in and pay over the phone through our automated secure line. It's not going to be through a co-op employee.
The other neat thing about Smart Hub is what? They can actually make sure their electric is on.
They can, and make sure that nobody's ran a cord over and
Well, I mean, if they
running-
hear bad storms coming through Denton County,
Yeah.
you can look and,
Yeah, that's true.
and see. You know, because it does happen. You're in another area of the world, and all of a sudden it's like, boy, you know, that storm went through Denton County. It leveled everything.
pull
of
up
course, you know,
Smart
maybe
Hub.
probably pulled up one pole. But
You don't know.
whatever somebody says, all you get is, you know, my dad's called me many times, says, yeah, they say it's going right over Denton County. It's going to take out most of the county. I said, Dad, it went over a very nick little part of northern Denton County, and it knocked down 3 trees.
It's like that telephone game. The story changes a lot.
It's really big.
Yeah.
So, you know, it all just depends on who you're talking to.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a great way to do it. Now, let's just say that they didn't do the bank draft, and they didn't do the levelized billing, which doesn't still pay your bill, but it's still, that's a nice way of doing it. And they don't have Smart Hub, and they think they got all the way down to the Caribbean, and they're going, my bill's due tomorrow. I got to pay that bill. How can I do it? Well, they still can, can't they?
They can. They can call that automated line, even if it's not normal business hours. You know, you're possibly in a different time zone. You are if you're down
You're
in the Caribbean.
you are.
But depending on where you're at, you may be in a different time zone. You don't have to worry about, is the office open? Is it normal business hours? Are the lines busy? You can call our secure automated line, and that number is 888-678-1987. And you can call that anytime, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and you just make your payment through that automated line. They'll prompt you for your payment information.
Before the due date.
Right. Or on the due date.
Well, I know, but before the due date runs out.
Yeah, there you go.
You have till what, 11:59 that night?
I suppose so.
I wouldn't wait.
That'd be cutting it close, wouldn't
Yeah,
it?
that'd be tight. Now, if you happen to be in Sweden, up there in the, you know, way north, up in the Arctic Circle, you probably should have already had that done, 'cause they don't have a lot of phones up there.
I doubt if they're snowbirds, they went up there, though.
They'd really be snowbirds up
Yeah.
there, wouldn't they? Truly be snowbirds. Yeah, it gets pretty cold up there. That's where it starts to get minus 60.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Yeah, with a wind chill. Yeah, you walk outside and your face freezes. It's not pleasant. But you feel your face crack. I mean, literally, just dry out and crack.
That cold.
That's cold. All the moisture in your face literally freezes upon contact with that air. And if you smile, you can just feel it crack. It's just not good.
Yeah.
It's cold. I'm telling you, that's cold.
That's cold.
That is really cold.
We don't want to worry about that.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend that to anybody. I went through that one time, and that's whoa, your eyes water, and then
freeze.
It freezes on your face. That's so you can't cry. It's cold. But yeah, you want to put, especially if the wind's blowing. Ooh, man, I guess it gets a little too cold. But hopefully you're not up in that area, because like I said, the towns are very far apart, and there's no phone service anywhere up there. So
You couldn't call in
you
anyway.
couldn't call in.
Hopefully you got your bank draft.
Hopefully you've got that all situated
you've-
way ahead of time.
Mailed it
Yeah.
in ahead of time.
All right, very good. Anything else you got?
No, that was
You're
my high
done?
points.
Okay, you got Operation Roundup today.
We do? Yep.
Okay, we also want to remind people this is a time of year that a lot of people will start using their heat, things of that nature. We all understand sometimes things can go wrong. Furnaces can go down. Cars can go down. Can't get prescriptions. Can't get out and about.
Right.
Remember, if you have an emergency need, think about Roundup. This is a real good way just to get you out of that situation that it seems impossible. I can't reach up and grab and pull myself up. Well, maybe they can help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what Roundup's for. And so if you have found yourself in that situation, maybe you were going along just fine. And like you said, maybe you went to turn your heat on and the furnace is out.
And then the car acts
And
up.
then the car acts up. And then,
And then the child has to have,
they
got to have braces
yeah.
tomorrow.
You don't know. I mean,
Wow.
Life happens, and there are times that we all need a little bit of help, and Roundup is there for that.
Right.
And
Hopefully you don't have triplets and they all need braces
yeah,
tomorrow.
that'd be really bad.
Had to
But
finance your kids just to get the braces.
yeah, doom and gloom.
No, I'm telling you, it could be.
But give us a call, or maybe you know somebody that could use a little bit of help. Maybe they don't know about Roundup. Encourage them to give us a call. We can get an application out to them or out to you. And we have 7 wonderful volunteer delegates that oversee those funds. They research those applications. They make sure that money's being spent wisely. They donate to the program themselves, so they want to make sure that they're being good stewards of that money. So if you participate in the program and you're donating, you can take comfort in that, knowing that your money's being spent wisely, and it's going to help those who really are truly in need.
Make sure you get that application in to their office before the end of the month.
Right.
So you can be eligible for this month's
Yes.
Roundup.
So today we're going over all the applications that we received in October, by the last day of October, and applications that we received throughout November will be reviewed in December.
About how many applications on the average, Heather, do you know, I mean, I'm sure it varies by
It does.
season and
Ten's
month, but
ten's a good average. I mean,
yeah.
there may be months where we only have 6 or 7. There may be months where we have 13 or 14. But I'd say 10 is a good ballpark figure for how many we receive each month. And they're from individuals and families, but also from organizations. So if you're an organization that is in need, maybe you've had funding cut, or volunteers have decreased. And I mean, just like we talk about life happening to a family, organizations can run into hard times too.
Sure,
So if you're a nonprofit organization and you're needing a little bit of extra help, reach out. Maybe we can help you.
there you go. Simple. Any questions about that, just call the main number, which is?
Our office number is 866-621-3679.
And you can also go through Smart Hub, I believe, and send an email in. They can get you
You
an
can.
application.
You can visit our website too, ieca.coop,
Really?
and you can just download an application and print it out from there.
You have a bunch of information on that website, too.
We
didn't even
do,
talk
yeah.
about that this time.
Yeah.
Huh.
Give us something to talk about in December.
There you go. Okay, very good. All right, so I have nothing else. If you're good with that,
I'm good.
You're good. Very
Yeah.
good. Okay. Well, anyway, we always have our friends from Inter County over on the second Tuesday of the month, and it's just always a good time to get caught up with what's going on over there, and always they get the good news.
Yeah, 2
$2.5 million worth of good stuff
coming this winter.
coming back. I like it.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. So anyway, if anybody has any questions about services, about engineering services, about getting electric, GenerLink, anything else, feel free to call Inter County. If you have power outages, you can call them. Remember, if you can always report a power outage if you have Smart Hub, right from Smart Hub, you can do that. And, you know, a lot of times they'll tell you, yeah, it's already been reported. That's okay. Call them anyway.
Right.
You know, let them know that you know. And, of course, too, pole location. It's good to know your pole location if you call in, because that kind of is important for them
Right.
to know where you
Where the
are.
outage is.
You know, it always helps out. Just trying to have as much information there as you can, and when it went off. You know, if you can give them the more details you have, the better off it is for them,
That's right.
so that they know what's going on. Heather, always a pleasure. You're going to have a good Thanksgiving. I know Heather has to make numerous runs on Thanksgiving.
We do. But, you know, it's a blessing to have family, so we'll take it. And
Very
just
good.
run all over the country.
Just, well, I don't
Texas
know about
County,
the country.
anyway.
At least, yeah, I was going to
Texas
say
County.
at least about 40 square miles.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be bouncing around like a pinball, but that's okay. But you'll be a full pinball by the time it's all said and done,
You just
won't you?
crash that evening and you want to sleep all Friday.
Yeah, it'll probably feel that way. That sounds like a good little thing. The way it's cloudy still, you know. Not
Yeah.
a bad day to take a nap right now. But anyway, so you have a safe trip back. Do watch out
Thank
for
you.
that black ice. And, of course, every second Tuesday we'll have someone from Inter County, usually
Yeah.
Heather, but occasionally we get Tony or somebody else might come over and inform us about different things going on. So kind of keep it in mind. If you have any questions concerning your electric and you're an Enter County customer, make sure that you do give them a call or go on Smart Hub or get with them.
Right.
And if you have any questions about getting on Smart Hub, and maybe you thought, I might want to do that, you can. If you suddenly get there and you hit a stumbling block, you hit that proverbial wall. I can't figure this out. Call them.
Give us
They'll
a
walk
call.
you through it.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world. It's not like you're trying to download QuickBooks and it stops and you're like, what? And then you call them and you get the guy from India.
No,
I
you're
would
going to
help
get
you
one
with
of
your
us.
QuickBooks. Thank you.
No, we'll walk you through it.
Yeah, they do a great job. And if you are moving in a new location and you want to prepay your electric, they can set that up too. So, make sure that you give Enter County a call. And again, we always remind people, don't wait to the last minute. Please don't wait to the last minute. It's just not that easy to get guys out there and hook up your electric at the last minute. Well, it's going to be 12 degrees below zero. I need my electric on now.
Be a better planner.
Yeah. Try and think
Try
ahead.
not to rush.
Otherwise, I
Always
think
be
you
behind.
might be sleeping somewhere else.
Yeah.
Especially if you call like at 3:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah. Yeah.
That probably won't happen.
Be a good planner. We'll just leave it there.
Yeah, well, I said probably. I didn't say it would not happen. It probably won't happen. Please, you do think ahead. Always try and think ahead.
Right.
Anything special going on in Enter County for Christmas time? Besides giving away free
$2.5
credits?
million.
Yeah, I mean, that's good stuff. Anything else? When are you guys going to have surplus auction again?
We're not going to do that until the spring.
I know, but I mean, is it March?
April, I
April.
believe. Yeah. March or April. I'm thinking April. We'll have
Okay.
a surplus sale.
Okay.
So we'll get some information
I
about
want
that.
to make sure we don't forget about that. And we also don't want to forget about, we have our contest, our essay contest coming up. That's going to be here for you,
Yep.
too.
We'll be in the schools in January.
Yeah.
And
It's amazing how fast this stuff
yeah,
comes around.
this month we should have a essay topic kind of finalized, and that way we can start getting our promotional materials ready for the schools. And so next month we should have a topic, and we can kind of let everyone know to be watching for us, because after Christmas break we'll be talking to those juniors.
What would you do if the electric went off?
Hey, we might be surprised at the information we get from that.
In all honesty, you and I
Right.
talk about this, how our lives revolve a lot around electricity. I mean, even right now, we're doing this all by electric because transmitter, the computers,
Yeah.
the microphones, the lights, the heat, everything else.
It would
we
help
got.
those kids start thinking about planning and what if. Ooh, you just gave a good idea.
I give you good ideas.
I know.
Every time. you
Every
come in
time.
here.
So you had to slip that one in. Almost
I
went
didn't,
the
I
whole.
didn't get my 700,000 in credit, which was kind of like a wish and a hope and a prayer, kind of like winning the lottery.
Yeah.
I didn't win the 300 million or the billion.
The billion.
I didn't win any of that.
Well,
I think I won $8 out of it, but a billion would have been good because I could have given away
yeah.
more than 2.5 million. That'd have been just a drop in a bucket, and you win $1 billion. You ever think about that?
It's hard for me to really comprehend how much money that is. I mean, you think about, if I won the lottery.
Of course, you don't get $1 billion.
No,
You
but
get-
still.
you still get over 500 million.
Yeah.
Still 2.5 million is a drop in the bucket when you
Yeah.
got over 500 million. But when you start thinking about numbers like that, what people could do, and you hope when people, if they win that kind of money, one person won that.
I know.
One. You hope that they take and put that money back into
Something.
charities and things that can help in their area, wherever they live. I don't care where they live. And make things happen that are positive, and
Huge-
not just sit there
huge
and
opportunity
say, it's
to
mine.
Make a difference.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
Absolutely. Put that money to good use. I mean, really, what did you spend for a ticket? $2? That's a heck of a return.
Yeah. Not very good odds.
Not good odds, no.
Yeah.
I think, what was the one the guy said the odds were? If getting, let's see, what I think? Getting in an earthquake, getting hit by lightning, in the middle of the ocean and being eaten by a shark.
Oh, wow.
Chance of winning all that. So hopefully this person wasn't doing any of those at the moment that happened. Wow, can you imagine that? That's pretty tough to win it by yourself, because
Right.
usually with so many numbers,
You'd
you have a
split it.
duplication. Oh well. Anyway, Heather, thank you as always
Yeah,
for
thanks,
coming
Dan.
in. And here at KSM Radio 1340, we again want to remind you that if you have any questions, get in touch with Erin County folks. They are there for you. One more time, real quickly, the phone number is,
866-621-3679.
or go to IECA.coop. And if you need to make that payment, if your bill is due on the 15th and you forget, it's the 13th already, guys. Don't forget, you can pay by credit card at.
You can call 888-678-1987.
Very good. Heather, as always, thank you much.
Thank you,
Appreciate it.
Stan.